Peak Organic Brewing. Clean, crisp, delicious. Peak's beers showcase the delicious hops and grains grown by local Northeast farmers. Delicious beers brewed with the best possible ingredients. So follow them at Peak Brewing on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at facebook.com/Peak Brewing. Let's get back to the show.
You know, I like the system we play, and you know, we're spreading the floor out there, and the centers are a little bit slower than me, so why not?
So is practice overrated?
Yeah, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. We got one tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to it, and you know, get some practice time out on the court with the guys, and you know, the system and the coaching staff and all that. So, but we played well. You know, it's been fun out there. You know, we got a great group of guys and a great coaching staff, and it's, you know, it's been fun.
All right, we're back for part 2. You just heard about Peak Organic Brewing. You got to hear about lynda.com. Find some great educational resources online at lynda.com. They are powering the Garden Report. Now we got to talk about what happened in this game, especially in the fourth quarter there. Celtics were down 25-1 run by Charlotte. They're able to somehow overcome it. They finish on a 10-3 run in the last 2 minutes there. Everybody from the second unit, they really took over at the end of that game.
They did, no doubt about it. And, you know, so if I tell you before the season starts that the Celtics' best duo might be Isaiah Thomas and Jonas Jerebko,
Which you're welcome
you
to do.
say.
I say absolutely. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it was easy to see coming that these two guys would be coming off the Celtics bench and just be leading them to victories and keeping them in the playoff hunt before the season started. So really there's not much to talk about here. But if we did have to talk about it, I would say that Jerebko has been somehow the ideal, not only backup center, but finishing center in these games lately. And Avery Bradley, after the game, was asked what the difference has been lately in the Celtics playing so well. And his initial response was Isaiah Thomas. And then he went on to say, well, it's everybody, people are playing their roles and so on. But his initial reaction is what's true. Isaiah Thomas is the difference, and he's helping guys like Jerebko in this second unit and Jay Crowder become, you know, a huge part of this team's success. And in the fourth quarter, that bench unit, along with Avery Bradley, just got the job done. They played small ball, and no matter what Charlotte was doing, they said, we're going to stick to this. You guys have to match up to us. And that unit was the difference maker in this game.
And, you know, the thing that I love is that the Celtics are able to have severe mismatches where they're size down, and they're outplaying to the point that they're actually able to make it an advantage. And we saw that Jay Crowder has been playing the 4, and he's been working his butt off, and it's working.
And Stevens gave him a lot of credit after the game.
And he really deserved it, and he did a phenomenal job. Cody Zeller, who surprisingly didn't get to face his brother nearly as much because it seemed like Crowder got him a lot.
Yeah, they
Crowder
play,
got Al Jefferson
and they never actually really match up that much, but...
And they were on courts. They're on the court at different times a lot of the time. But Cody Zeller, who had a huge game here last time, he went 11-7. It was solid, but it wasn't anything really special. He had a really good basket, I think, late, though, offensive rebound and score that was really crucial. But Jay Crowder is really working his butt off on defense. And then, of course, Jerebko outplayed Al Jefferson, which my mind still hurts from here. I'm getting a headache just from saying that out loud. But Jerebko worked really hard. And he, of course, Jefferson is kind of recovering from injury, so he didn't look like himself at all, of course. But I mean, Jerebko played really hard. What you loved is that Jerebko was fighting to try to tip the ball on rebounds, stuff like that.
He had a lot of he had 10 rebounds, correct?
5 offensive, 5 defensive. And
Yeah,
he had that crucial tip out to, I think it was Jay Crowder to hit the 3 to put them up by 4, and that's where the Celtics really kind of opened up their lead at the end there.
He did. Jerebko has done far beyond, obviously, what any of us expected. And how he played so well against Jefferson in the second half, one of the things is just his ability away from the basket to knock down 3-pointers. That's been huge. And then when he gets in there, you know, it's not like he's ripping down rebounds over Jefferson, but like you said, those tips, those are rebounds, those are second possessions for the team. And, you know, Crowder turned them into a 3 on a huge possession. Just one last thing on Crowder. Jefferson had 14 points tonight. He had 2 of those points in the second half. A couple of free throws, didn't have any field goals. Crowder was matched up on Jefferson for a good portion of that second half. And to not even let him score, at least from the field, is a huge accomplishment, something that Brad Stevens gave him a lot of credit for after the game.
Jefferson went 0 for 2, and I think it was 8 minutes in the fourth quarter there. Only 2 points were coming on free throws, so they're not hit a single field goal. And he showed some nice moves earlier in the game, so it wasn't like
he opened up with a couple of those moves in the paint.
Yeah,
it was like, whoa.
So he
be a long night.
didn't just like show up without anything tonight. It was the defense really shut him down in the fourth quarter here. But we got to talk more about Jerebko, because Jerebko has been this kind of remarkable anomaly lately, where he's riding the Jonas train here, where he had what was it 15?
I knew you were gonna come up with something.
There you go. It was 16 and 10 tonight, because I mean the train has to be at least 16 and 10, and he's hitting the threes. What I really loved was he came into the game, hit a big three late in the game, and gave the biggest fist pump, like Tiger Woods downwards fist pump. I mean he's pumped up.
Wouldn't you be happy if you're Jonas Jerebko
right
right now?
Punch the ground as hard as I can. Yeah.
He's been fantastic. He comes into Boston, he finds himself a role almost immediately, but still, like I said last show, don't forget he got a DNP in his second game as a Celtic. And
Kelly Olynyk's coming back soon.
Yeah,
very similar player.
That's gonna be fun, because Kelly's had his moments this season, but how Jerebko's been playing lately, it's gonna be hard to take minutes from him. But he just kind of brings a whole another aspect to the floor that they have not really had. You could say that they've had it in Olynyk, but he just brings it with a little more energy. And I mean, you got to be excited. They're tied for 9th with the team that they just faced tonight. So the playoffs are a very real option in Boston right now.
And Indiana has a slight winning percentage edge over them, it looks like, as of this recording. I mean, what do you think of this? I mean, it's kind of crazy. They strip down the roster as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just make 2 moves and they add a star to focus the team on. And I understand Isaiah Thomas wasn't a star in the NBA before this, but he's been a star. Last year he was close, and here he is an absolute star. I mean, he's scoring 22 a night now after this in 4 games, small sample size, but still 22 points a game. That's nobody here was coming really close to that. Cough, cough, Jeff Green. But I mean, they have. By adding Thomas, they've completely revitalized their entire team, especially offensively. They finally have the guy that fits with them offensively. They're 7 and 10 their last 10 games.
Yep.
It's not much reason to see that. I mean, they're not going to be 7 and 10 on average for the rest of the season, probably. But it's kind of hard to see them not making the playoffs at this rate unless Indiana really gets something together here.
So, I mean, there's 5 teams that are in the mix, assuming the Heat can hold on to that 7 seed. That would be Indiana, who currently has it, Boston and Charlotte, who are now tied for 9th, and then there's Brooklyn and, who am I forgetting, Detroit, who lost to the Knicks tonight. Those are the 5 teams that are going for 1 spot, so essentially there's a 20% chance for them to get it, but at the rate they're playing, they just look like they're better than any of those teams. Indiana did get a win over Cleveland tonight without LeBron and Kyrie, but
that's not that big.
It's a big win, and they did beat Golden State in the last week.
Which is definitely a big
win. Obviously Indiana is playing good basketball right now.
And one luxury though is that you can go from being the 8th seed to being like 7th in the lottery very fast.
It
takes like a game and a half basically. So that can work out really poorly or really well there.
One thing that the Pacers do not have is Jonas Jerebko.
No, they don't. Neither does Detroit.
Neither does Detroit anymore.
They don't have Luigi Potome either. Are we ever going to see Gigi's ponytail or bun in action?
The way things are looking right now, he's due for a 30 or 40-point game sometime soon.
All right. Very quickly, rapid fire, box and ball. Give me both of them.
Baller's got to be Isaiah Thomas. Like I said in the first video, can't stress enough how important he has been getting into the paint, finishing around the rim, finding open shooters. Isaiah Thomas has been so good. Box. What I would love to know the last time that a team suffered a 25-1 run and went on to win the game, as the Celtics did tonight. That's crazy. 8 seed, here come the Celtics.
All right, so for me, baller is obviously Jonas Jerebko. I mean, like,
obviously.
8th man boogie over here. So the stat of the night, I guess it would be his 5 offensive rebounds. That's really great. But I do have to say the 10 free throw attempts for Isaiah Thomas. He's consistently getting to the line double digits. It's just something that the Celtics needed so badly. just not just from like an X's and O's point of view, but just from an emotional point of view.
Rondo is 7 for 25 from the line as a Dallas Maverick.
And Rondo got suspended, while Isaiah Thomas has already hit more free throws in 4 games than Rondo did in the entire season before that. So it looks like things worked out pretty well for the Celtics. So for Julian Edlow, I am Jared Weiss. This was the Garden Report powered by Lynda.com and now Peak Organic Brewing on CLNS Radio and Celtics Blog. We will see you after Sunday's game. We'll have some more stuff from you from Sloan. Peace out.
With a 2-game sample size, I would say it's been good, but I don't know that we can, determine if it's good long term or not. I think that I know this. The biggest thing for me has always been if you can find somebody with enough speed and skill that can guard above their size, then you can give them, create some havoc on the other side of the court, and that's what Jay has done. Jay's ability to guard the post has given us some options as we've been smaller here, and Jonas too. But we had the double Al still, and we had to do some of that stuff. But Jay did a great job on Al Jefferson. I mean, did as good as anybody can.